Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the In Between the Sticks podcast. I am Kale here alongside, as always, Drew and Austin. Unfortunately, another rough week here doing the podcast. We were kind of hoping for for a better start coming out of the season with all the preseason hype that we're getting surrounding new coaches, new players. Will Levis kind of settling into a leadership role, knowing he's QB1 and a lot of stuff just going on with the team. And here we are coming up on a Monday Night Football on the No Tua Dolphins. And shout out Drew's joke. And, we're 0-3. We're in a hole. And we have plenty of time to make it up. Pretty much all of our 5 out of 6 of our division games are the last 5 out of our last 7 actual games on our schedule. So it's like if you can kind of turn the page and get to a point, But right now, playoffs are looking slim, so that sucks. But last week it's more of the same. On offense, to me, it was a little bit better in terms of like Will Levis. I thought looked a lot better.
Hot take.
I know it's rough. I know. Will Levis to me looked a lot better. more so us, like Levis looked better himself aside from the O-line just being bad because he's getting hit way too much just standing in the pocket. So, Austin, I know you're going to touch on the O-line because that's just horrendous. But I thought Levis looked better. You look at the pick six, that's just a great play by Jair. I mean, if you think about it, like I was looking at the film and I saw a video Kurt Warner posted. Like, if Will were to catch that, it would basically mean he would have to, because he threw it on time. It would basically mean he would have to know that Jair is guessing that we're running that play. And it's just like, it's just a great play and something that happens. And then the other interception, I don't really fault him either. He's trying to make something happen down the field at the end of the game.
Yep.
But aside from that, I thought he executed pretty well, minus the fact that he got hit every 3 seconds. So there's that. Defense, we took a step back this week. So
major step back. It felt like they didn't. Okay, I can't say major step back. After the first, basically after halftime, they showed up finally, but they were like almost non-existent in the first 2 quarters. Yeah. It felt like
it was pathetic.
And almost feel like I was just confused watching it, of being like, what in the world was our game plan going into that defensively? I mean, yes, we know Malik week 1. He's running the ball a lot. They ran like 53 times or something like that. We're not week 1, but his first week being with the Packers, where they won. They ran the ball like 53 times, and he threw for over 100 yards. But I mean, running the ball 53 times, like that's got to. I get it. Coming into the game for us, he had an extra week to be there, prepare, install some new plays, work on stuff with Matt LaFleur, who's a great offensive scheme coach. And it's like, we were texting during the game, and I felt like we were watching college football. It was just screens to the left, screens to the right, short little dink and dunks, getting bootlegs out of the pocket, let him run. And it's like, well, did we not expect that coming in? Like, are we expecting Peyton Manning to just sit there and stay in the pocket the whole game? I mean, we had this guy on our team for months. Denard Wilson went against him. And, well, I meant this year. Denard Wilson went against him in practice for months. You know what I'm saying? In the offseason and stuff like that in training camp. So how his skill set is. I just don't understand. Also, I just don't understand some of our usage rates with some of these players. Like one big one that's coming to mind right now is Jamal Adams. Yes, we signed him on a 1-year deal. Prove it or lose it kind of deal, right? Bro's barely playing. He's barely playing, and when he is in there playing, he made 1 tackle week 2, and then other than that, he ain't made a tackle. Bro can't tackle. So, it's like that hurts. Quandre Diggs, for the most part, is playing decent, right? And then, obviously, I don't know if y'all have seen it or not, Cheeto's out again.
He's on IR.
With a groin injury. So, he's gone for the next 4 weeks. Luckily, we have, Brownlee Jr. stepping up for his
4
first
weeks.
start.
4 weeks, which is 5 weeks because we have a bye in there.
Yep. So, I feel like I feel better in that regard since Tua is not playing. I feel like if Tua was playing, I would pray for Brownlee Jr. because they go at that man every single play.
Oh, I mean, Jalen Waddle would have himself a day.
I mean, I'm not just praying for him. I'm praying for the whole defense if Tua's playing.
Well, here's the thing, too, right? Like last game. You think about it. The defense only let up, to my knowledge, actual touchdowns, 14 or so points?
3 touchdowns.
They had three touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 21, give or take. I mean, for the most part, I mean, you think about it, our quarterback has given the opposing team 7 points 2 out of the 3 weeks, right? Or actually, pretty much 3 weeks every game.
Yeah.
What are you going to do as a defense whenever you're just constantly behind the 8 ball? Because your quarterback is giving you points, and let's bring it up because not a lot of people are talking about it. Jeffrey Simmons has given these teams 14 points back-to-back weeks. Stupid penalties on stops that allow them to extend their drives and get touchdowns. I get it. You can sit there and say, oh, maybe they wouldn't have scored even if you get a penalty, whatever. But you got to look at it. Bro gets a roughing the passer call on Aaron Rodgers on a 3rd and long. They get a first down. They go down. They score, right? Last week, he's sitting there. I don't even know what he was trying to do. He looked like he was trying to just hold the guy from blocking whoever's beside him. Got caught with it. They get a first down. They score. So it's like you have 7 points from Jeffrey Simmons doing that, and then you also get 7 points from Will Levis turning the ball over and letting him score. It's just you're not going to win games. We don't even have turnover on defense.
Yeah.
It's just like my Will Levis hype. I'm still having a little hope, but I'm right now. I'm out. I'm out. That's how I feel. Truly, like until he proves otherwise, I have no hope.
I'll disagree with you on that one. And before I touch on that, I'll say first, defensively, we have an amazing secondary. But that does not matter. It does not matter how good your secondary is if you cannot get to the quarterback. And that is the number one thing the Titans are struggling to do. The Packers is the best offensive line we've played so far, right? Bears have a terrible offensive line. Caleb Williams is getting hit the second most out of any quarterback behind Will Levis. The Jets had a new and improved a little bit offensive line, right, after a horrendous year last year, but they're still not great. So we kind of got to beat up on them a little bit. We saw an actual good offensive line against the Packers and a good scheme coach running the offense, and we got no pressure all game. It didn't matter. Like, we're used to at least seeing Simmons and Sweat coming through the middle. They were non-existent. Landry got no pressure all game. Arden Key is just a body on the field at this point. Jeffrey Simmons, where is he? Because he's clearly not playing on Sundays. And Sweat, I mean, he's getting double teamed because he's so big. I mean, it was insane. Like watching our and you want to know why they kept running screens? You want to know why they kept running wide receiver end arounds and all sorts of stuff like that? Because we kept having to blitz to even get any sort of pressure on Malik Willis. People wonder why Malik Willis looks so good. Bro had 8 seconds in the pocket. How did that 3rd and 15? How did that 3rd and 18 happen? It's because he's got
so many
10
3rd and
seconds.
longs they converted,
seconds.
bro.
He's got 10 seconds in the pocket. All right. I don't know. First off, I don't know how we didn't blitz on those 2 plays. But when you don't get pressure on the quarterback, it doesn't matter who you're playing. They're gonna beat you every time. Every time. If you do not get to the quarterback, you're leaving your secondary on an island, and you're gonna get beat. And that's exactly what happened. I don't even think we got more than 2 pressures on Malik Willis the entire game. It was that bad. But that's enough. That's enough for the defense. Defensive line is horrible. We need another edge rusher. Arden Key's awful. Will Levis. I haven't given up completely on Will Levis. I thought Will Levis, outside of the pick 6, actually played pretty good in the game. Completed 70%, something like that, 77% of his passes.
76, yeah.
He had, a nice little catch and nice touchdown to DeAndre Hopkins. Like, I thought he looked pretty good outside the first drive. But every time we started getting momentum, it was a sack, every single time. We scored right out of halftime. Defense gets a stop. We're driving down the field. We're inside the 30. NPF gets put on the ground. He's doing disco dance moves on the floor. and Will Levis is fumbled, and it's a turnover. I mean, it was every single time we got any momentum going, it was a sack.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? I think it was 27-7, and we go down and we score on D Hop's catch. Who, let's just say, shout out real quick, because he's still one of the best contested catch receivers of all time. I mean, he's just that good. That was a good throw, I thought. Little back shoulder. Glad he got in there to the end zone.
Oh, it was great.
We immediately, I think we get a 3 and out.
We did, literally 3 and out.
And then we come back, and that's when NPF blows that play, and we immediately fumble. It's like we were moving the ball. Like we could have went down and got down 1 score in the 3rd quarter right there. But when he fumbled because of that sack, I was just like, that's probably it. Because every bit of momentum that we had just garnered is gone. So, I don't want to spend too much time on it because we're kind of beating a dead horse at this point. I think the thing that's most frustrating, and this is kind of what we can end on and hope to look forward to this week, which we might get into in another episode. But like, we have to turn the page on stop making stupid mistakes. We got to protect the football, and we got to get the football from the other team. Like this week, we didn't even really have to worry that much about special teams. So thank goodness for that, and hopefully that continues to go in the right direction. But man, the whole game is about being able to protect the football. Like you're just not going to win games like that. We really could be sitting here 3-0 right now, 2-1 at
Not could
worst.
have. We should have. We
Exactly.
should be.
I mean, at the very least, we should be 2-1. We handed
2-1.
2 games to them.
Yeah.
The Packers came out and dominated us in the first half. So take that with what you will. But I'll just say that's where we have to go. We got to stop turning the ball over, and you got to get the ball from the other team. Because when we start doing that, you'll see the win column start adding up.
I'll say one
So
thing. I'll say one thing about the offensive line before I don't want to spend too much time on the game. I know we didn't plan on it. One thing about the offensive line. We have the youngest I'll reiterate. I said it last episode. We have the youngest offensive line in the NFL. We have a rookie at left tackle. We have a basically rookie at left guard because Skronsky missed games last year. Terrible offense, rookie. We have basically a rookie right guard in Radens who has had no playing time at right guard. And then we basically have a second-year NPF who took all of last season off because of gambling and then also his injury.
Yeah.
His injury. And then you got Cushenberry in the middle as the only player that has real experience as almost a veteran at this point, and he's not even a veteran; he's only 24. So, like, we are seeing the youth of our offensive line right now because they're all so young and they're going to make mistakes and they don't communicate properly because they don't have a lot of chemistry. The Packers took advantage of that. They had they threw a lot of different looks and a lot of different sets at our offensive line, and they just didn't communicate properly. And even some of the play calls, man, I'm gonna be honest, I'm sick and tired of seeing the motions out of the backfield that go nowhere. Right? Like the Packers were just ignoring the motion in the backfield because they knew that the person in motion was not getting the ball no matter what. Like
We've only given the ball guy in motion the ball once this year, and it was Calvin Ridley last week on that touchdown drive.
It's unbelievable, man. Like we send a receiver in motion and they run across. We had a play on one of the sacks that Will Levis got sacked on. It was a play action. Well, no, it was a fake toss to the right to Tony Pollard, but he also had Chig out there as like a lead blocker, right? So it's a fake pitch, and then he's out there like for a pass, and the play is not designed for that. So the Packers just ignore the motion and the fake pitch because they know he's not getting the ball. Instead, they sent 3 or 4 people on that play, so they had 8 guys guarding 3 guys out in the field, and nobody's open. Nobody's open, and ultimately Will Levis gets sacked. If you're going to run people in motion, you have to make people respect the motion by actually hitting the player in motion sometimes, right? Like, I mean, that's the whole, like, I mean, eventually the team's just going to stop playing it, and they're going to have numbers in the field, and you're screwed every play, which is what happened against the Packers. But
I got 2 things before we move on. I'm going to reiterate what I said before. I'm not counting Will Levis out. I'm just saying right now, the hype and the expectations that I had for him coming into the year, gone. Yeah. And there's no way that if anybody's sitting there thinking that Will Levis is still on that level, you're insane, right? I've seen TikTok Titans arguing it on Twitter. I mean, we're in a bad spot when people are arguing on Twitter that it's not going to get better because of Will Levis's age, because of the way that the human brain works to where, because he is 24-ish, 24, 25, because they're saying you draft a younger quarterback, for instance, a Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, they're much younger. They can learn quicker. Their brain isn't fully developed enough. They're sitting here trying to say he can't learn and fix his mistakes because he's 25 and his brain isn't the same level. Like, it's bad when that stuff's happening. But you look at Will Levis' performance, especially last week. Like you said, Kel, stupid, picks. I mean, either way you look at it, you can sit there and say, yeah, Jair made a great play, or you watch the play and you say, wow, Will Levis was staring at D-Hop the whole freaking time and didn't even see Jair standing there because Jair sat on the route. So it's either way you look at it. But he still threw for 260-something yards, right? He had 76% completion percentage. He actually leads the AFC South in touchdown throws for the quarterbacks. And honestly, not people are saying it. Anthony Richardson has thrown more picks this year than Will Levis has. So I'm not fully out on him, obviously, because what else are we going to do? We going to throw Mason Rudolph in there? No.
No.
We going to sign somebody else? No. But the last thing, right tackle NPF. Ultimately, this is on Rank Arthon. Right, I sent the text during the game. We had all off season. We knew right tackle needs to be looked at. And what do? Absolutely nothing. Granted, Sadiq Charles retired. Who, like Austin said, who knows what this offensive line looks like with him in there, right? But we knew this was a problem. I said it from the get go. I guarantee you, NPF wasn't even touching a football blade of grass during the offseason, and I think it's showing because that boy is garbage.
Yeah, he got cooked. So, Miami's defense, they're going to come prepared. We need to hopefully build off of a little bit of more momentum that we kind of gained in the past game, minus taking all the sacks. But would like to see a clean game from Levis, just turnover wise, and then
And just don't turn the ball up.
don't do
give the other
anything
team
that's going to
points.
lose you the game. Exactly. Like, I'm not saying you got to go out here and okay, look, this is another thing, and this we can move on into our next segment as I'm saying this, so kind of segueing. But like the NFL right now is statistically down in passing across the league. We're not seeing those 350-yard games right now. Even Josh Allen, they killed whoever it was like 2 weeks ago, and he threw for 170 yards. It's just like we don't need that. We just don't. We need Will to go out there and perform well, to manage the huddle well, which he's been doing, and then just make good decisions. That's all it is. And then hopefully our offensive line will continue to grow and get better. So as we are talking about the rest of the NFL, though, it's going to be interesting to get into our fourth week of our pick'em, and I think Austin was going to take us through that. Me personally, if for those wanting to know, because I know you're just dying to know, I'm 19-29 now. So again, let me reiterate, we're not professionals at this at all. So we're struggling a little bit, but that's where we're at.
Yeah, Drew, what's your record? We might as well just spout off our records before we hop into this thing.
I don't know what Kale's talking about because I'm the only one above 500. So
It's week 4. It's week 4.
It's 28-20 currently. 9-7 last week. Pretty decent week. Sounds like the old Tennessee Titans seasons.
Yeah.
And then what was I? Week 1.
Week 1, you had a heck of a week. I remember.
I was 12-4 week 1, 7-9 last. Yeah. Yep. So bad week 2, but that was upset week. I honestly kind of feel like this week's gonna be upset week, so we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, week 3 was a big upset week too. I mean, you had the 49ers that lost. The Bucs got blown out by the Broncos. The Rams beat the 49ers with like half their team not playing, so that was a shocker to everybody.
49ers also didn't have a lot of people playing.
Yeah, 49ers didn't either, but Rams had a lot. And then the Bengals come out and lose last night. What is going on, right? Anyway,
the Bengals. I'm glad to see. Before we move, I'm just glad to see that the Bengals suck, just that like we do, and most importantly, the Jags suck. I mean, I would rather go through this with Will Levis, where we're paying him $2 million a year, compared to Trevor Lawrence paying him $300 million over his contract to suck this bad.
It's so bad, dude.
He's actually terrible. He's so bad. I'll say one thing. We're 0-3, but we're still better than Jacksonville. I'll say it. We're better than them. Anyway, but like I was saying, so this week 4, Kale's not doing too hot. I'm not doing too hot. I'm 23-25, so I'm 2 games under 500. Had another back-to-back week of going 7-9 with more upsets, so it was pretty bad. But Drew's doing pretty hot, so he's on a roll. But anyway, we'll get started with the games this week. Tomorrow night, Thursday night at 7:15, Amazon Prime. You've got the Dallas Cowboys versus the Giants in New York. Kale, who do you got?
It's crazy we're starting off with this one because the way Dallas is playing right now, at least in the first half of games, just kind of makes me want to lean. But I always have the problem with, do I really want to pick Daniel Jones? That's kind of where my brain goes.
Statistically, he's having a better season so far than Trevor Lawrence. So,
well, that's not saying much. But it physically hurts me to pick a winner for this one. But I think I'm going to go Cowboys.
Yeah, it's a tough game. I'm not gonna lie. The Cowboys. They're a second half team right now. They played the Ravens last week. They were getting blown out the whole first half. I mean, it wasn't even a game. And then second half they come out and they actually make it a game and only lose 28-25. Only lost by 3 points. So, they get a lot of issues over there, but I still think the Cowboys are just overall a better team than the Giants. And I know the Giants won last week, and Malik Neighbors went crazy. Man, I wish we would have gotten him in the draft, but I like J.C. Latham, so I'm not going to say that. But I'm going to go. I think I'm just going to stick with the Cowboys. I think the Giants, I think it's closer than people think, but I think the Cowboys win.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine our football team with Malik Neighbors as a receiver, but having NPF and Jalen Duncan as our tackles?
Well, I can imagine having them as our tackles because that's what we're freaking stuck with right now. But I can't imagine them having them with Malik. So
for me, Giants, like you said, Giants just won last week, upset over the Browns. Which
was it even an upset though? Like the Browns, the Browns aren't good. Like
the Browns are favored. So
I'll tell you, I think I like Deshaun Watson less than I like Daniel Jones.
Dude, Deshaun Watson might be worse than Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, for multiple reasons. He sucks. I mean, I don't know what happened to him because he was a baller at the Texans. Maybe one too many massages, but he's also just a weirdo. So
I guess you could say the talent rubbed off on him.
For me, this game is going to be a snooze fest of a prime time, in my opinion. The Cowboys, last week almost got the comeback on the Ravens. I was mind blown sitting there watching that with the Ravens just fumbling that game. I mean, I was getting flashbacks. But for me, Cowboys is kind of the same old as last year. They can't stop the run at all. But with the Giants, they ain't got nobody to run the ball.
Yeah, so, they could. What is it, Singletary or something?
I'm gonna have to go Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb obviously very frustrated in their loss last week as well. He hasn't had the greatest start of a season, of the season so far. But I think this is a good as a game as any to sit there and come in and say, okay, let's get CeeDee Lamb the freaking ball.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Cowboys.
Yeah. Second off, too, real quick, Amazon Prime needs to sue whoever is making the schedules for the NFL because they are getting screwed on these Thursday night football games. They are they're getting Netflix numbers up because nobody is watching these games.
Patriots and Jets last week.
Freaking Cowboys and Giants this week. Next week it's the Buccaneers and the Falcons. Who wants to watch that? Week 6. You got to
Hey. Let's not hate on Kirko now.
Well, hey, Austin, think about this.
That'll be a good game.
Hey, Austin, think about this, bro. Week 1, Thursday night, it was the Ravens versus the Chiefs, but Amazon Prime didn't even have the game. It was on normal TV.
I know. I'm telling you, they hate them. And then Week 7, you got the Broncos and the Saints.
What's funny? The funniest thing to me is that it's Al Michaels who does the play-by-play and Kirk Herbstreit who does the color.
I love
and Al. I do too. Al Michaels, he's getting old, and people joke. There's a meme about him not caring anymore because he doesn't get excited. I'm telling you what, how could you freaking get excited for any of these games? I'm surprised he's not freaking snoring on the call. It's terrible, dude.
It's like Kale on defense at 2K.
You're
tripping, bro. Get out of here with yourself.
Facts right there. That's some facts.
Oh Lord, let's move on, Austin. Who we got week 2 or second game?
Sunday, first game on the lineup. It's the Broncos versus the New York Jets in New York.
Yeah, I mean, knowing where the Broncos are at, this is Jets, and I'm kind of honestly I feel like I've had some picks every week where I'm like, yeah, there's no way the Broncos win this game, but I'm 19-29, but I'm still going Jets here.
Hey, the Broncos won last week, man. I don't know, man. They didn't just win; they spanked Tampa Bay. They spanked them up and down the field all game long. With that being said, I'm taking the Jets.
Yeah, I think this is for your record, Kel, I'll tell you, this is one of those gimme games, right? That's going to get your record up. So
I don't know if I believe that.
Dude, none of these games are gimme games.
So I'm going the Jets.
Yeah. I mean, Rodgers is starting to look like himself, too, again. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, they also got Breece Hall, who's looking like the best running back in the NFL right now.
A stud.
So, I mean, he's
absolute stud.
But moving on, here we go. Next game. We've got the New Orleans Saints versus the Falcons. Who you got?
Are you going down the ESPN list, or did you skip one?
Yeah, I accidentally skipped one, but we'll come back to it right
after this one. Yeah, let's come back to it. So, Saints-Falcons, I'm having a hard time just because of what the Saints did the first 2 weeks. offensively. They put up like 90 something points, and then in the third game they really didn't do anything. I think it took them 4 quarters to score a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't know what the Saints are. I feel like the Falcons' offense is starting to pick up a little bit of steam though, and I'm just a big Kirk Cousins fan, so I mean, honestly, I could see the Falcons maybe getting back on track after that because they should have came back and beat the Chiefs the other night.
They
Really,
gave the Chiefs everything they could handle.
yeah. So I think I'm gonna go Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcons are favored. I'm honestly kind of shocked,
Mm.
especially with how good the Saints have been so far this year. The Falcons are actually 2.5-point favorites.
I didn't realize that.
But I don't know, man. Like, somebody must be injured, and I just don't know
Mm-hmm.
on the Saints because I don't keep up with them like that. But yeah, man. I mean, the Falcons look good too, though. I'm gonna pick the Falcons as well.
Who did you pick last week in the Saints game, Kel?
Last week, who'd they play last week?
The Eagles.
I picked the Saints.
Yeah, that's where you went wrong. Give me the Falcons. Give me Kirko Banks.
Kirko. Okay, now coming back to the game that I just skipped, which I'm gonna say I did it on purpose, just because it's a better game, but I did not. It's actually the Minnesota Vikings versus the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay.
Yeah, I think this is a really good game. I also think Jordan Love is back this week because it's a division game. So I am going to lean Packers, although I've had some fun watching Sam Darnold light it up. I think that probably stops eventually, but he's kind of going crazy right now. So, but I am going Packers.
I don't think that Jordan Love returns this week. I think that they give him one more week just because they're 2-1, right? They can afford to let him rest another week. Mm-hmm. It's not like a must-win right now type game.
It is a division game, though.
It is a division game. But I think if I'm the Packers, I'm letting my future quarterback, the quarterback of my future, rest one more week, and I'm going to let Malik Willis just stay at the helm. And with that being said, the Vikings have an amazing defense. I mean, Sam Darnold, where was this 3 years ago? I don't know. But I'm going to pick the Vikings. Why not? I'll pick the Vikings.
For me, for this game, I think Jordan Love does come back. I'm with Kel on that one. Watching the videos and stuff pregame for our game last week, he looked pretty good. Didn't look like he was hurting at all. And with Sam Darnold, too, he just went down in last week's game as well. He didn't have any significant injury, but it was technically an MCL sprain. So we'll see. To me, this is the battle of whose knee can hold up the longest. And it's hard going up against Justin Jefferson, right? I mean, you do have Jair Alexander on that team. But Sam Darnold, to me, is just like, how long can he keep this streak up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Green Bay leads the league in interceptions forced as a defense. So I think I'm going to have to go with Green Bay on this one.
Yeah, we're going to be shocked. That's all I'm saying. All right, but anyway, moving on. Another hard game right here. This is another tough game to pick. You got the Eagles versus the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. Philly is favored by 2.
Yeah, I've always been kind of a Baker Mayfield fan, and I just don't trust the Eagles at this point. Plus, do we know if AJ's back? There's just kind of a lot going on. Yeah,
Devontae Smith is in concussion protocol.
Yeah, he's probably not going to play. Yeah, that was a bad hit, but
should have been fined. But
yeah, I think I'm going Bucks. I just don't trust the Eagles enough to pull this out on the road.
And look, the Buccaneers had a really bad game last week against the Broncos. I think I don't know. I honestly, it happens all the time in football. You get a tougher opponent coming up in the week ahead, and you kind of look over that opponent. Kel knows all about that. NIU, baby. But sorry about that
strays out here.
Sorry about that stray there. But that's what happens all the time at all levels of even every sport, right? You get a better team in the upcoming week, and you look over the team you're playing. I think that's what happened with the Buccaneers last week. If A.J. Brown is not playing, and I don't think Devontae Smith is going to play, I just don't think the Eagles have the offense. Saquon Barkley is a monster. But, if A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith aren't playing, they're going to stop the run, right? I mean, any IQ, any coach with an IQ is going to stop the run. I'm going to pick the Bucks here as well. At home, I'm picking the Bucks.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm just going to go ahead. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this. I have it here for the record. You see right here. I did have the Eagles. But Kel brought up a good point. I marked it out. I'm going with the Bucks. A.J. Brown still hurt, still questionable to play. To me, I don't know the full extent of the injury, but I believe it is a hamstring. Same thing he's been dealing with since he came in the freaking league, it feels like.
Yep.
Obviously, Devontae Smith's hit last week was not a great thing for that team.
Nope.
And he's definitely going to be held out this week. I mean, there's no shot he plays. And like you said, Roller, like who else they got? Saquon. What other receivers do they have other than them two? I can't even name one.
Quez Watkins, maybe.
Yeah, Quez Watkins, and he's decent, but then you're looking at Dallas Goddard as far as like targets. So,
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good. Mike Evans had a bad week last week, so I feel like he's going to get back on track
for sure.
And so yeah, I'm gonna go Bucks.
Yeah, Evans doesn't have many bad weeks. So
this next game is actually probably the hardest game so far. Surprisingly, it is. The Bengals versus the Panthers. Who do you pick? Like, I mean, goodness.
Hey, I had him last week. I told you, brother. Andy freaking Dalton last week. It was a lock. Red Rocket came out and he
went off. He went off. I just can't pick the Panthers though. I think Joe Burrow.
Can you?
Dude, their Bengals are horrible.
They're bad, dude. They're bad, but I think this is where they get the win. The Panthers are just as bad. I mean, this is battle of the toilet bowl right here. It's worse than watching us play right now. It might be worse than our game without Tua.
If you would have told me that at the start of the season, the Bengals would only be a 3-point favorite over the Panthers, I would have called you insane. But that is the world that we live in. This is a team
that should have beat the Chiefs 2 weeks ago. I mean, it's like, who knows what you're going to get? So, but I am going to go Bengals. I don't know why I'm going to go Bengals, though.
Man, this is hard. I wish I could. Drew, what do you got? I'm going to let you go first.
It's honestly like flipping a coin.
I had Kale's mindset going in before he even gave his opinion. I think this is a Bengals gotta have it game, right? It's the Panthers. You lose to the Panthers. I mean, I get it. They get Andy Dalton. Like I said, Andy freaking Dalton, the boy. You don't down him in games.
Bro, they're in a very similar spot that we are. I mean, it's just like, where are you at in your season? Are you ready to pretty much give it up? Or
with Andy Dalton coming in and putting on the performance, does Bryce Young just suck that bad?
I think the Raiders' defense is just not that good, more so than anything.
Dude, he looked like prime Mahomes out there. Yeah, like I was mind blown.
But anyway, you don't have to say prime. Mahomes,
is still in his prime.
It's
I mean, I don't think he'll ever not be. I don't think he'll ever not be. In his prime,
I agree.
What I would do to have that man on our team. Oh my god.
I'm gonna have to go Bengals. I think putting that stat line up back-to-back weeks for Andy Dalton is going to be very, very difficult. And Jamar Chase just had his breakout game last week. I said it last week. I said I felt like last week for the Bengals was Jamar Chase getting back on track, and look what happened.
And Joe Burrow still looks good. I mean, that deep ball he had to chase for a touchdown. I mean, that was just you can't put it in a better spot. I mean, so
yeah. So
I think they finally getting the win column here.
I've got 2 words. T. Higgins. He's back. He's healthy. I know he got some snaps last week. He was on the snap count. They're trying to get him back,
that's a big deal.
Back into the routine, right? He's back. I mean, he's
possible 2025 Titan.
Like potentially. But I mean, that's
can he play right tackle?
If he puts on about 155 pounds, maybe. But look, they get him back. He's a key piece of their offense. Joe Burrow loves him. Like, I mean, I think the Panthers beat up on a bad Raiders team that has a lot of locker room issues, as you can tell with their post-game interview by their head coach last week after the game, talking about players making different business decisions.
Which is true. I mean, you watched that. I forgot what his name was. His last name was like Jones or whatever his name is.
Jack Jones. Yeah.
Bro just did not want to hit anybody. He was check collector of the week.
Yeah. Like, really? That might be NPF. I can't lie. But anyway, yeah, I'll pick the Bengals. I think the Bengals win this game actually by like double digits. I think 3-point favorites. I think they win this game by double digits. Their defense is good too. Anyway, next game, we have the second AFC South in division game this week, the Jaguars versus the Texans in Houston.
I'm almost at a point where I just refuse to pick Trevor. And I think the Texans bounce back from a terrible performance in Minnesota. And AJ Stroud gets them rolling again. I think Texans win this game.
What was the final score of that game?
It was like 34-7. It was bad. It was a booty whipping.
Was it terrible? I mean, obviously, I don't know. I didn't really watch it other than seeing the highlights.
34-7.
Other than seeing the highlights, or was it terrible? Like, obviously, their offense had to have struggled, but like that defense, bro. all the additions they made, and you're letting Sam Darnold just cook you up.
Well, let's just say this. I'll tell you. They had 20 yards rushing. Shout out Cam Akers. And C.J. Stroud had 215 yards and 2 interceptions.
So you're telling me we have more rushing yards than the Texans last week? We only had 33.
We did. We indeed did. And the Vikings ran all over him. Aaron Jones had 19 carries for 100
Oh, I know.
yards.
Shout out. RB1 for me.
Yeah. I've always been a fan of Aaron Jones.
Sneakily underrated. So underrated.
Oh, yeah. So, did you pick Drew?
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, it's Texans. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be the one game where I'm going to lose because Trevor Lawrence is just going to come out and win.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, Trevor Lawrence has sucked all year long. But
I honestly don't care to take the L here. I'm just not picking Trevor.
Yeah, look, this is the Trevor Lawrence special. The Jaguars are going to find somehow, some way to win this game. And I'm still not going to pick them. I'm going to pick the Texans as well. Yep. I can't do it. I cannot pick the Jags with how bad they've been and how bad Trevor Lawrence is.
Yep.
Goodness. Yeah, Texans all day. All right, next game. The Steelers versus the Colts in Indianapolis. The Steelers are 1.5 point favorites.
This is a tough one. What the Colts are? What 1-2?
1-2. Steelers are 3-0.
You kind of feel like the Steelers' magic runs out a little bit at some point. But they do seem like they're the better team than the Colts. But this is just one that I just feel like I need to go Colts for some reason, and I hate saying that, but I think I am gonna go Colts.
I don't know, man. It's tough. Look, I picked the Colts week 1 and week 2. They lost both of them, and then they beat up on the Bears last week. The Steelers. This is going to be a very defensive game. I don't think either offense is going to put up a lot of points. The Steelers haven't put up a lot of points all year, but that defense is so freaking good. And
you might as well start your backup. You don't want T.J. Watt getting his hands on Richardson.
T.J. Watt is about to have a field day on this Indianapolis Colts offensive line, and that's truly the only reason why I'm going to pick the Steelers. I think it's a low-scoring game, but I'm basically just judging the two defenses at this point, and the Steelers are better. So I'm just going to pick the Steelers. Why not?
I'm with you, Roller. I like Steelers' defense in this matchup, especially when you got to keep in mind the fact that the Colts won't have DeForest Buckner in there either. So especially if you have Justin Fields and Najee and I forget their backup's name, but he always plays.
Jaylen Warren.
Yes.
Yep.
Those three that can all run the ball and run the ball consistently well. Yep. I think it's definitely going to be a low-scoring game for sure. Unless Anthony Richardson just comes out and has a field day somehow, but I'm gonna go with the Steelers.
So this game's actually pretty interesting right here. Another tough game to pick, man. The Rams versus the Bears in Chicago, and the Chicago Bears are actually 3-point favorites in this game, coming off the Rams win over the 49ers.
Yeah, I do find that fascinating. Man, I think I'm gonna probably lean Rams, even though I know that they're struggling on the injury front right now. I just trust Stafford more to be able to get the win than I do Caleb right now. But I think this is – I feel like Stafford can throw up a few points even though he's down some guys, especially having McVay. So, but I just – if they do end up putting like 21, I don't think the Bears can score 21 right now. So I'm going to go Rams.
I'm going to give you the fun fact of the day. If you thought our offensive line was bad, the Bears are worse. Right?
God have mercy.
At least we get some rushing yards.
Hey, they're throwing up a prayer thanking the Lord above that Aaron Donald is not still playing.
DeAndre Swift has 68 total rushing yards on the season.
Oh, yeah, he's getting dropped off my team for sure.
68. He has 37 carries for 68 yards. He is averaging like 2 yards a carry right now. He's terrible.
Less. I think that's less than 2 yards a carry.
2 yards a carry.
That's insane.
That's how bad their offensive line has been, though. But I'm going to be honest. I think this is another very defensive game. Both offenses are beat up. No Cooper Kupp, no Puka. The Bears' offensive line is just so bad. I think what I'm going to do here is I want to pick the Bears because they're at home, but I'm not going to, and it's because of one man only, and that's Sean McVay. I'm going to pick the Rams.
I said it last week, and they did it. I was saying you got to find a way to get Rome Odunze the ball. Right, you got to see what he's about. Possibly getting Keenan Allen back as well. Right, he injured himself in our game in Week 1. Hasn't really played that much since. And honestly, he should have never gotten injured on that play in the first place because Caleb Williams just forced the ball there, and then he came down on his heel wrong, which is an injury he had coming into that game. So if Ken, I don't even know if Keenan now comes because like Cole Kmet, he had a great game last week too. He put up like over 20 something points in fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
This is one game I'm gonna be okay with losing because I'm gonna pick the Bears. I think Caleb Williams actually starts to get it rolling. I don't hate to see it, but because I said it in our whatever episode that was when we were going over the bust for the season, I picked Caleb Williams, and so far I'm right.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I hope that he kind of the guy that they were predicting to be the next Mahomes, right? So I think people got to start having compassion for these quarterbacks that come in and have to immediately start day one as rookies. When that just isn't over the tradition of the NFL. It hasn't been a thing that much, right? I mean, these especially nowadays, these kids are, what, 20, 21, 22 years old coming
Yep.
in having to play against these amazing defenses. Like, I don't know. But I'm gonna go with the Bears for an upset.
If their offensive line was any better than it is, I would definitely pick them. But the next game we got going on here, we have the Commanders versus the Cardinals in Arizona. Arizona
Mm-hmm.
is 3.5-point favorites.
Commanders is on a 2-week win streak right now.
They are, and Jaden Daniels is really picking up steam. I mean, the dude balled out against the Bengals. This is still a tough one because we have seen the Cardinals perform well this year at times. But I don't know. Something about it kind of just feels like Jaden Daniels is loading up his rookie of the year resume right now. So I'm gonna go with the hot team and go with the Commanders here.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is a tough one to pick. It really is because I really do like Jaden Daniels, and I really do like Terry McLaurin. I think Terry McLaurin is the most underrated receiver in the league by far. But a part of me just can't pick them this game. I want to so bad. I really want to pick the Commanders, but I don't think I can. I think that I think their offense is getting better, but I think that they've gotten 2 wins over 2 really bad teams right now, and the Giants and the Bengals. And I think the Cardinals are better than both of those teams. And I think I'm going to pick the Cardinals at home.
Kale's got the right mindset here. I'm going to go Commanders. I think, like you said, Jane Daniels, really good game last week. Shout out Nala trying to get on the mic. But anyway, and Scary Terry, like his head roller, right? Having a pretty decent season so far. In his interview, literally said he walked up to the head coach and said, "Throw me the freaking ball on this play for the game winner," and they did, and he came down with it.
And that was a nasty throw.
Yeah, so I think Jay Daniels, to me, out of the first couple quarterbacks that got selected, he's the one that could have an. I mean, well, granted, you can't really say that because you didn't know what Caleb Williams was going to look like, but just it was either him or Jay Daniels that was going to have the most immediate impact in being like, whoa, okay, these guys are good. And I just think with Jaden's running ability, man, it's going to be hard for these defenses, especially if they just start getting consistent, right? So I'm going to go Commanders. Obviously, I think this is going to be that game of who scores more, right? I don't think the defenses are really going to be holding up in this game. I think it's going to be a shootout.
This next game, if anyone, Drew's talking about free picks. This one is probably the most free pick out of all of them. Should be. The Patriots versus the 49ers in San Francisco. 49ers
I struggled on this one,
favorites.
dude.
10-point favorites in San Francisco.
Yes,
honestly,
but 10 points is insane.
10 points is insane. I will say, I don't know if they cover that.
Watching this right now, most teams are only like 3.5 favorites in these NFL games. They have them at 10.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's scary.
I don't know what the Niners have going on the injury front. I know Debo was dealing with some things, and
Kittle was out last week. Debo was out.
Debo's still out this week.
But I will say I do think the Niners they're the better team. They should win this game. I don't think the Patriots can score enough on this defense, if at all. The Niners defense is set up well, even if their offense is struggling a little bit. So I'm going San Francisco.
Yeah, no brainer, no explanation. 49.
Yeah, I have 49ers as well, just because of the defense. But shout out Patriots, though. They've been pretty competitive when everybody was counting them out to be the worst team in the league this year.
Yep. I think it's that coach kind of getting them ready to play. So,
and a guy at my work today literally sat there. I was telling him, hey, because he was asking me what, what about our picks and stuff he watches and everything. And he was like, what are y'all's picks? And I said, honestly, I'm struggling on this game right here. A, because of injuries. A, because of the injuries, but B, just because of how competitive the Patriots have been.
Yeah.
And he sat there and he said, yeah, he said, it's kind of crazy. Once Belichick gets out of there, you look what happens. He literally just couldn't win without Brady. He couldn't.
Yep. And the biggest concern I have with this game is I really like Brandon Ayuk, but the Patriots have somebody in that secondary that is so unbelievably good and has shut down every number one receiver that he has played this year, and his name is Christian Gonzalez. That dude is a true lockdown corner. That dude means
he's very
business.
good.
When he steps on that field, he means business. So it's a tough game to pick. It's a defensive game. I'm going to pick the 49ers. I think they got too much star power. This next game right here, this might be the worst game of the week.
It might be.
The Browns versus the Raiders in Vegas.
Ugh. Again, I have a really hard time picking Deshaun Watson. All jokes and outside football stuff aside, he's just not what he was. Is Gardner Minshew playing?
So they ended up playing Aiden O'Connell for a while last game, but Gardner Minshew did start. I don't know if he got injured or not, but I'm pretty sure Gardner Minshew is going to start this game. I'm not sure why they sat him.
Genuinely, with this one, like, flip a coin. I'm going to go. I don't like Deshaun Watson, and so I'm going to go Raiders, but it's probably a coin toss type deal. They might as well just, when the refs choosing who gets ball first, they might as well just say, who do y'all want to win today? Because it's going to be completely up in the air. I got no idea, but I'm going Raiders.
Man, this is such a hard game to pick. Goodness gracious. Honestly, I really don't want to do it. I really don't. But I think I'm going to pick the Browns. I think that the Browns defense is good. Not as good as last year, but they're still good. And the Raiders offense is struggling. They struggled all week last week against the Panthers. So, yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to pick the Browns. Why not? Give me the Browns.
I am going with the Raiders, and like y'all said, I was just a coin flip. Defense, like Roller said, hasn't been the same as last year when they were at top 5 defense. But also, same thing, Deshaun Watson, right? You talk about check collector of the past or the next 3 years on his contract.
Century, bro. Like,
I mean, dude's getting his fully guaranteed money, and he can't even play football anymore. So I'm gonna have to go Raiders on that one.
This is actually, I think this next game will be closer than people are thinking.
It's the most controversial game, I think.
The Chiefs versus the Chargers in LA.
Oh, definitely not the game I was thinking.
Is Herbert playing?
I do not believe so.
He's got an ankle sprain. I'm telling you right now, I can't vote against Patrick Mahomes, especially with Herbert not playing on the other side. I can't do it.
He's listed as questionable.
Okay.
And he was a limited participant in practice.
I don't know that changes my answer. It might potentially could make it more likely that I would, but the Chiefs are just too, like, I don't know. Like, Patrick Mahomes just finds way to win. Finds ways to win, even when they're maybe not at their peak yet. Like,
and the refs
they just win.
Too.
You know, they get a little help from the refs from time to time. So I'm going Chiefs here. Here's a guy.
If Justin Herbert was playing, I feel like I would pick the Chargers. And I think the only reason that I'm not going to pick the Chargers is because Justin Herbert is not playing. If he was playing, I would pick them. I'm going to pick the Chiefs, obviously.
You know what I say? Herbert, Chiefs by 40.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, man,
they're just good.
The Chargers are surprisingly good. Okay, they're 2-1. They have their defense is better than people expected. If Justin Herbert was playing, this would actually be a game. But anyway,
it usually is. These games, Herbert tends to play very well in these Chiefs. Yeah, and division games, you just never know what you're going to get. So
yeah, this
next one I've been waiting to get to. Yeah,
this is the game of the week, right? You got the Bills versus the Ravens in Baltimore, with Baltimore as 2.5-point favorites.
This is a hot take because, really, in my opinion, I don't understand why Baltimore's favored. It feels as if, just as fans, it feels as if the Bills should probably be favored. I think they're one of the best teams in football right now, and Josh Allen looks very good. All that said, I'm going to go Ravens here. I think the Ravens start to bounce back a little bit, and Derek kind of got going on the ground last week, which was good to see. And I'm hoping that they kind of expand what they're doing because Derek running that well opens up things for Lamar, and Lamar running well opens up things for Derek. So we'll see how that goes. I'm on the train that Lamar is a better passer than people give him credit for. I'm not saying he's the best, but he's a better passer than people give him credit for. And he's a 2-time MVP, so I do think it's going to be a great game. I just feel like the Ravens have a good chance to pull this one off. Say what you want. Say what you
Austin
want.
said,
Go
"Not
ahead.
my MVP."
Yeah.
He was not, dude. He was not. He did not deserve MVP last year. But anyway,
I didn't say he deserved it. I said he's a 2-time MVP. Statistically speaking, he was in the polls to get it. I'm just whether he deserved it or not.
I don't think he did. But anyway, Bills Ravens in Baltimore. Baltimore 2.5-point favorites. I understand why they're favorites in this game because it's in Baltimore,
Yeah.
and I think that's the only reason.
The 2.5 points probably flips over if it's in Buffalo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of only because it's a home game that they're favored anyway. I got to go with who should have won MVP last year, baby. Give me Josh Allen. Come on.
Shout out Josh Allen because
Give
he
me
definitely
Josh
should have
Allen.
won MVP last year.
Give me Josh Allen. I think
I'm a
he's gonna
big Josh
flip up.
Allen
And he's
fan.
dating Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah, give me the
So-
Bills all day.
Yeah, for me, you said the Ravens are what favorites?
2.5.
2.5.
Thank you, Las Vegas. Give me the Bills on the spread. Thank you. 2.5 all day. Throw the house on it. You know, Bills, they're getting hot. They're getting hot. Josh Allen looks to be back in his normal form. And right now, he doesn't have the pressure of leading the league in picks because we are. So, or actually, the Colts are.
Yeah, I was about to say Anthony Richardson.
But even then, he's not second. So, anyway.
Josh Allen hasn't thrown one pick all year. He's got no interceptions. Somehow.
I would almost be willing to put money on Allen getting his MVP this year.
If he stays at this rate, yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, but give me the Bills.
So this game is another really good game. It's actually the Seattle Seahawks against the Detroit Lions in Detroit on Monday Night Football. Detroit is 3.5-point favorites.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna rock with the favorite here. I do think it's gonna be a good game. But again, Austin and I kind of go back and forth on this each week. But it's like you just gotta find the way to get Jahmyr Gibbs the ball. That's my opinion.
Truth be told.
And Amon-Ra St. Brown, like, gotta get him going. He hasn't quite got going yet this year, like he was last year. I think it's just a matter of time. But I think the Lions pull this one out.
Everyone knows how much I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I am a huge Jahmyr Gibbs fan. I'm a huge Dan Campbell fan. I'm a huge Amon-Ra St. Brown fan, Laporta fan. Basically every player on that team except one man and one man only. And you want to know why? You want to know why they're 2-1 right now? You want to know why they're 2-1? And you want to know why their offense is stagnant right now? Do you want to know why they only put up 20 points against the Cardinals? Horrible defense. You want to know why they only put up 16 points against the Buccaneers? Horrible defense. You want to know why they put up 26 points? Pretty good game against the Rams.
It's a great game.
Jared Goff sucks. He's got 4 interceptions already this year. He doesn't have a ton of yards. He's not efficient. I'm picking Seattle, and it pains me to do that because of how much of a Lions fan I am outside of the Titans. I think I'm going to pick Seattle. I think Seattle wins this game. They go into Detroit and they beat them on Monday Night Football for the whole world to see.
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I'm going the Lions.
I like it.
The game of the week for Titans fans and no one else, because no one else is probably going to watch. We have the Miami Dolphins versus the Tennessee Titans.
We actually might get a lot because a lot of people are going to say, "Wow, let's see what Will Levis does this week."
We got Miami versus the Titans in Miami. Miami is only a 1-point favorite in this game.
Okay, my pick has nothing to do with the game. I am trying to use. Well, you'll understand. My pick is the Dolphins, and I'm taking one for the team. My pick is the Dolphins.
I mean, truth be told,
That's
you're
all I'm
not
gonna
taking
say.
one for the team. Truth be told, you're not taking one for the team at all. You're actually winning more than likely this week if taking them, just because the Titans were 0-3 and look terrible.
I'm taking one for the team in that I'm taking it for the Titans. Now, am I taking in my case, it might give me a win, but I'm going Dolphins.
I really don't want to do it, man. I do not want to do it. I do not want to do it at all. I'm sick to my stomach making this pick. I really am. for the fourth straight week, I'm going to pick the Tennessee freaking Titans. Tim Boyle and Tyler Huntley are starting at quarterback. For the love of all things holy, L'Jarius Sneed is going to have Tyreek Hill in a box, right? He's in Diddy's room in a house, and he's not getting out. He's not getting out. There is no escaping. He is locked all game.
Oh my God.
Jarvis Brownlee, rookie, doesn't matter. Okay, McCreary on Waddle, locked. Please, Will Levis, if you were seeing this, please, for the love of everything, I know you are from Kentucky, right? And your brain doesn't work properly. Please do not turn the ball over 2+ times this game, and we will win. Ride our defense, literally, this game, and we will win. Just don't turn the ball over. Don't give the other team points for once, for the love of everything. Okay, Drew.
Yeah, this one for me is tough. The only thing I have to say about this game is I feel like we're kind of in the same boat as we were last week, where we don't really know what quarterback is starting, right? And obviously, you got a game plan for both, and the coach is going to say it. But look what happened last week. We said we were doing it last week, and it fell apart. And don't forget, hey, the media is going to tell you they got Tyler Huntley, former Pro Bowl quarterback.
Pro Bowler, baby.
Pro Bowler.
And I've picked the Titans the first 3 weeks, and that's why it has been so tough because we should be 3-0.
Yeah,
It almost physically pains me.
it's painful. It's awful.
But I'm gonna have to go with the Dolphins.
Wow. You know, honestly, I don't blame you.
Dolphins.
No Tua.
No. Dolphins.
Yep.
like it.
It's you got to do something.
Yeah.
We got to help the boys out. I mean,
Shoot, man, put me at right tackle or something. Like anybody's got to be better than NPF. I mean, God.
I promise you, brother, I might not hit them, but I'm not going down in the 3-point stance.
But yeah, that pretty much wraps up our pick 'em for the week. Let us know who you side with the most down in the comments. Honestly, I think I have the better picks. Obviously, I'm a little biased.
probably shouldn't side with me based on the
Drew,
record.
But Drew's the ringleader at the moment. Drew's been hitting the majority of the picks. Kel hasn't. I haven't. So pick your poison. I hope you're not watching this for gambling advice or anything, because me and Kel might have you selling your house because
I don't gamble, but I don't gamble, but a lot of people tell me I do. Whenever I have in the past, lost every time.
Every time.
I will say, yeah, just it's been, as far as just talking ball and doing picks, it's been another good episode. I pray that the next recap episode we have is actually a good episode. I just hope that the Titans come out and play like the team we have seen in spurts that they potentially could be. Put it together for 4 quarters, protect the ball, get some turnovers. Let's go win a freaking football game and see if we can't do anything this season other than get a high draft pick and have people speculating whether we're getting right tackle or quarterback or whatever the case. That's where I'm at. I will say, I want to do one quick question right before we kind of close out here. Drew closes us out. The game that I want to ask y'all about as football fans, as most of us watch college football, who wins this weekend, Bama or Georgia?
Georgia.
I think I'm going Bama.
You would be wrong, Drew. Bama is winning this football game. Georgia has not looked impressive all year long. Their offense is stagnant, right? Their defense is amazing. Well, guess what? Alabama also has an amazing defense. The difference is Alabama can put up points.
Absolutely.
Alabama's winning this game. They got a 17-year-old that's going to cook whoever Georgia's got.
He's a beast.
He's a monster.
Yeah.
First-round pick in a couple years. I'm going to pick Alabama. So.
I like it. Just curious. I know that's probably the game of the week for sure. So,
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I promise you, a win is coming. Right? We are not the last year Panthers. I promise you. We actually have players that can go out and win a freaking football game. We have coaches that can win a freaking football game. We have a GM that can put together a team to go and win football games. We are not in the dark ages of the past. right?
Mm.
We're just struggling right now with a brand new team,
Don't
brand new
even say that.
coaches, brand new identity, right?
I
I
get
promise you.
PTSD from thinking about our 2 and 14 years.
Yeah, I promise you it's coming. And once it's like they all say in basketball, right? You just gotta see the first one go in. You just gotta
Mm-hmm.
see the first one go in. Because who knows right now? We're making this. We could win out the rest of the season and go to the bowl. Who knows? Right? We have no idea. But that's just what being a fan is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you like our episode as well. Like Austin said, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about our picks. Also go go click on our TikTok. I'm gonna leave it in the bio down there. Go give us a follow over there. And if you're watching and you're not subbed right now, just click the button. Right, we're at 32, I believe, right now, and we want to try to get to at least 50 by the end of the year. So we're almost there. So just help us out. And if you know anybody that wants to watch any kind of Titans content, send it to them. But as always, we always like doing this. We're not doing it for the views. We're just doing it because we like to do it. So hopefully you like this episode, and we'll catch you in the next one. As always, tighten up.
Tighten up.
Tighten up.